Welcome back, boys and girls, to the comfy lounge. So try not to destroy Russell's eardrums here.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Every time too.
Is there a way that science can fix Sam's hearing? Sam Jordan does the show before ours, and every time we come in,
it's so blaringly loud. It's like harmful. And I have a theory that the person who he used to be on after, yeah, he's young, they can't hear us. The person who he was on, after had the same problem as him, and it's a cyclical thing. Like his hearing is shot because the guy he was on after in the 90s had terrible hearing too.
Right.
So it just sort of progresses upward. We're going to have terrible hearing, so whoever succeeds us in the 2090s or whatever is going to have the same problem.
Pretty much. I'm 28 years old. I'm not trying to be there yet right now, though.
Yeah, I'm 22. I don't need that.
those are bad problems to have. So we have a couple of things to get into.
At least one. Yeah.
At least one. It's going to be a fairly video game intensive show, I believe.
Yeah, probably.
But because like both of the things that I have to talk about are both video game things.
I'm well versed in the video game, so let's go for it.
So here we go. I'm well versed, but terrible at. And this is actually the thing that I was thinking about, right?
Okay.
Because you're familiar with the game Cuphead.
I am. I played it.
It's a platformer. It's a 2D platformer. And the thing about Cuphead, a couple of things about Cuphead. One is that it's a beautiful game. The art. Someone put a lot of love and time into that. It's hand drawn.
It's actually hand drawn, yeah.
It looks like a cartoon. Like if you're just watching someone play Cuphead, it looks like you're watching a cartoon. It doesn't even look like you're watching a game.
It's really, really well done. Yeah.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But the thing about Cuphead, or the other thing about Cuphead, is that it's very difficult. It's a hard game to play.
It's extremely difficult, yeah.
And it's got a very cutesy, charming, animated style. And I think that this has deceived some people into buying Cuphead and playing Cuphead that maybe did not know what they were signing up for and did not know what they were getting into.
Yeah.
With regards to how difficult that game actually is.
Okay. Well, that's a point that could be made. I could counter with antiquated examples, from the 80s, where like if you want to go back to like Mega Man 2, which is a really dang hard game.
It is very difficult, yeah.
But it's kind of cutesy. Like if you look at, this is a bad example because the cover for Mega Man 2 looks really weird and has nothing at all to do with Mega Man 2. But like later Mega Man games, they sort of market it as like not really for kids, but it looks like some anime kid, whatever Pokemon thing, and parents buy is like, okay, whatever. But if you try to play like Mega Man X, that's a hard game.
It is. I believe I played the version that came out on the PlayStation.
Okay.
That game's tough.
That's like X8 or something like that. Yeah. It's very, very, very hard. It's a very difficult game. I would say Mega Man X is harder than Cuphead. Cuphead's not nearly as hard as people make it out to be.
Okay, I think maybe what's inflating that a little bit is the number of casual gamers that probably got caught up in that.
Yeah, and that's fair. People talk about casual gamers, hardcore gamers, whatever. I'm somewhere in between. Like I play games and I'm decent at games, but there's nothing against casual gamers. It's just like people don't freaking speedrun Counter-Strike.
Yeah, like they're a casual gamer, they're a casual sport hobby.
Yeah.
You're allowed to like games if you're a casual gamer, but I also think that if you are a casual gamer, maybe you don't read everything that comes out about every game, and you look at Cuphead and you go, this might be a little enjoyable.
Yeah.
And then you realize that, oh no, I can't play this because I'm not equipped to. I'm not prepared to grind out learning how to beat this game.
It's a really dang hard game, yeah.
Yeah, because the game does require that you play it over and over and over again to get good. I mean, it's just what it is, and that's how games used to be.
It's mostly muscle memory with Cuphead, yeah.
And you were telling me it's sort of a love letter to those really hard Nintendo games of the late 80s and early 90s.
Yeah, it absolutely is. A phrase that's tossed around nowadays is Nintendo hard, where like a game that's Nintendo hard is like Master Blaster on the NES, or like Mario, the original, like the actual Mario 2, not the American one, but like Mario 2, the Japanese one. It's lost levels here in America. Everyone knows the story about that, so I won't get into it. But Mario 2, it's kind of like that. We're like Mario 3, later levels are really, really dang hard. But the thing with Mario 3 is that it has that difficulty curve. You know what I mean? Cuphead just totally throws out the difficulty curve thing and throws you right into like the hard levels of Mario 3, basically.
Okay.
Like imagine if Mario 3 started out on like World 4, That's kind of what Cuphead is. So I wouldn't say that it's unfair. It's just that you have to do the learning yourself. The game is not going to hold your hand and teach you.
Okay, and I think, I agree with that. I also think that like there's a certain level of scaling that people do expect in games.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's fair. But that's not what Cuphead is.
No, and so this is your warning now. If you listen to this, if you'd like to buy Cuphead, understand that game is not going to scale for you.
No,
in that particular kind of way. It's just not that game. But it did bring an interesting idea to mind, which is, can a game actually be too hard? Because Cuphead is very well designed for as difficult as some people do find that game. It's a very well designed game. It's not unfair. Like there's no point at which you are playing Cuphead or any of the number of games like it. Like Super Meat Boy, for instance, when you play Super Meat Boy, I died so much in Super Meat Boy.
That's kind of the point of Super Meat Boy, though.
It is, but at no point when I was playing Super Meat Boy did I feel like it was the game's fault.
Right.
I felt like it was all my fault.
Yeah.
But can a game be too hard, even if you realize, hey, this is not the game's fault? I just kind of stink at it.
Well, hard's subjective.
That's true. Yeah.
Because like too hard is totally subjective. Like some people like Mario is too hard. They just want to stick to Angry Birds, and that's fine. That's totally fine. But that's the subjective hardness. You know, like that's a funny sentence, isn't it? Subjective hardness.
Yeah.
But yeah, like again, like Mario 3 is like in later levels. It's a hard game. It's not an easy game anyway. And for some people, that's just too hard because they're not good at platformers, and that's totally fine. And Cuphead's sort of the same thing, where like if you don't want that hard experience, then Cuphead is too hard, and that's fine. But objectively, I don't think there is a too hard.
Fair enough. I mean, hard is what people are willing to play and attempt to finish.
It's what people are willing to enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah. If a game can't be finished because the game is bad, then that's just a bad game. The game is fundamentally broken.
Right.
Which is not the same thing as being difficult. But when we're talking about a game like Cuphead, we're talking about a game that's not broken. It's doing exactly what it's designed to do.
Right.
Which is challenge the player beyond what the player thinks that they can actually handle. And either they can push through it or they can't, but that's not the game's fault.
Right.
And I don't know about the marketing of Cuphead necessarily.
It's been marketed as difficult-ish because there were preview builds that were sent out to people, like the different game review places, and they all pretty much said the same thing. It's a Nintendo hard game. You know, it's a difficult game. Early reviews came out and people said, yeah, it's difficult. Because most people are not going to, well, I'd say most people are not going to go and pre-order Cuphead and play it as soon as it comes out. They're going to wait for the reviews first.
Right.
So, yeah, people kind of, I think most people, I would say a broad majority of people knew what they were getting into when they bought it.
And another thing that we were talking about before we came on here, this is Two Millennials Talk on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM. But we were talking about how people actually want games that are difficult. That want a challenge.
Yeah. Because it's so lost in a lot of modern games. It's just totally gone. The challenge isn't there.
Yeah. I mean, and because I think games are doing a different thing. I think that in a lot of older games, and it was actually just sort of a memory shortage thing. I don't think it was a design thing necessarily, but the world of the game was also the story.
Yes.
So the challenge of the game showed you how challenging the world was.
Right.
Now you have cutscenes in games. The game can just tell you, this is what happened.
Yeah.
So now you don't necessarily want a challenging game. You want an experience between cutscenes. Right. Essentially, you want a ride that, like a roller coaster ride, sort of like you're on, which is what a lot of the Call of Duty single player campaigns essentially have become. You're just
and Metal Gear Solid games.
Tracks. Metal Gear Solid a little bit too. Yeah. But I would say the Call of Duty games more because there's just certain points in a Call of Duty where I was playing I forget the one that came out like 2 years ago. You could really just not shoot very much, and the game pretty much has you on a track to take you to the next cutscene.
That's probably Black Ops 2.
Yeah, that's what it was. It's I'm not going to sit here and say it's bad, but it's like, man, there's nothing challenging about this at all.
Yeah, Call of Duty really fell down a hole when it comes to challenging, because Call of Duty 5, the first one that had zombies mode anyway, I remember, was like actually really dang fun.
Yeah.
Like single player was fun, playing zombie mode was fun, everything was fun, and then it just sort of went downhill from there. And I mean, people still really like it, but it's sort of become its own worst enemy because it's become a joke just what Call of Duty is as a joke now.
Yeah, I think they made too many is what it is.
Yeah, it fell into franchise hell, basically.
You know, I mean, fans complain a lot about, boy, it's been 8 years since the last time I saw whatever, but it's like, well, because if you have a game that comes out every year, every 2 years, what ends up happening is you're forcing developers to innovate, because you'll get mad at them if they release the same game.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, if a game doesn't come out, you get mad at them for not releasing another one fast enough. It's a tough place to be if you're a developer. I think you just take your time and make the game you want.
You've made me come up with a theory on the fly. So I was just thinking about like applications where like I never get tired of a series as it keeps going on. And my favorite application, I think, two. Adventure games, like point and click adventure games, just never get old. They can make as many as they want, and to me, they just never get old because they're always fun to me.
Except for the Siberia games. Those after the first one, boy, Siberia 3 might be the worst game I've ever played in my life.
That's its fault. That's because it was badly made. Yeah. The genre itself was fine.
Yeah, the genre's fine. That game is old because it's just they didn't even try.
But think about this. Think about like series that really don't add anything gameplay wise. It's basically like map packs for the same thing. People nowadays are really not used to the idea of expansion. Like if you're a younger gamer, which is, again, that's fine, we're not making fun of you, but if you're a younger gamer, and a gamer is such a loaded term nowadays too, by the way.
That's true.
Yeah, but if you're a younger person playing video games, you're probably not used to expansion packs. But back in the day, and this is even a little bit before my time, but back in the day, like you had StarCraft, and you had StarCraft Brood War, which is essentially a sequel, but it really is an expansion pack. And the gameplay really didn't change very much at all. There are a few new units which are really cool, and that changed the gameplay a little bit. But it's just new maps for the same game.
Right.
Warcraft did that a ton, like a lot. Well, my case in point for me, from my generation, is the Splinter Cell series, where the gameplay from the first Splinter Cell all the way up to Double Agent, Conviction a little bit, didn't really change. The story changed, and the levels themselves changed, but the gameplay itself really stayed mostly the same with a few added features here and there because they knew what worked. That formula was like, boom, we got it.
You got it. And then as long as you can offer new challenges to people, just keep changing the levels, keep changing everything so that it feels fresh enough. You don't have to change the game mechanics.
Well, like think about Mario. Mario has not changed really since Mario 64.
That's true.
And that's fine. You know, like Mario Galaxy is basically just Mario 64 too, with some added cool like gravitational features. But like the basic controls and the basic mechanics stay essentially the same. I know there are differences, but it's the same game every time, which is fine because it works.
Yeah, I would say a similar thing for Zelda.
Yeah,
Breath of the Wild being sort of an exception because they really did change a whole lot.
Yeah.
There, but even then, there's still things that are Zelda about that.
Very obviously that as soon as you pick it up, you know what it is.
Yeah, and at no point does it feel like you're playing a different game with Zelda's skin on. Like, no, you're playing the same game. Like I don't know exactly what it is that just certain good game developers are capable of keeping the soul of the character in the game, even if they change the game. And then obviously some people can't. Sega.
Yeah.
Sonic.
Oh my gosh. Sonic has been, and I'll say this unequivocally, Sonic has been not worth playing. Sonic has not been worth playing since Sonic Adventure on Dreamcast. That was, well, I would say Sonic Adventure on Dreamcast is a bad game. But like from then on, so from like 1998 on, for 20 years now, Sonic has been basically stagnant.
Sonic Mania that came out for the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Is a love letter to what Sonic used to be.
But is it worth playing that over Sonic CD?
I would play it along with it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's better, but I would play it right there with it. It's a very fun, beautiful game, well designed. It makes you feel like you're playing Sonic. You can go fast, but the levels are well thought out and funny. And you know, like one of the all-time great Sonic levels is Casino Zone.
Oh yeah.
There's a broadcasting level where you get shot across the level as TV and radio waves. Like it's interesting. It's really cool. Yeah, it's really fun. Someone put a lot of heart, but of course Sega wasn't the one that made that. It was a fan group.
Yeah.
That Sega sponsored essentially.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Sega knows what it can and cannot do.
Correct. All right. Well,
we actually have a phone call, by the way, if you want to take that.
Let's take the phone call.
Why not?
All right, caller, you're on the air.
Oh yeah, this is Sam Jordan with Chris Paul.
What? Who?
Oh, sorry.
I think you want to.
Yep, I think what happened was we got someone looking for. Were they looking for Sam?
Oh, were they looking for Sam?
That's what it sounded like.
Oh, I couldn't hear a dang thing.
I couldn't hear it very well.
One of my favorite things, by the way, is apparently our numbers are really similar to Dish Networks, and so people will call us asking for Dish Network installation. When I first started here, which was like 6 years ago, when I first started here, it was like basically nothing but that all day. People, do you have Dish? It's like, no, we don't have Dish. Quit calling.
we're a radio station.
Yeah, this does not have Dish. We have satellite dishes, but not Dish.
Not Dish directly. No.
Not even DirecTV directly. We don't have any of that.
I mean, maybe just recheck that number again.
Yeah,
if you could.
Well, the problem is they were leaving. They were like doing 800-8949 and then adding numbers. So like they were thinking like 1-800-894-9 something is what they were trying to dial. But for some reason they just dialed 423-800-8949, thinking they were dialing the 1-800 number.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate.
It happens though. Some people just don't understand phones.
Don't do that.
And sometimes, you know what, they probably just instinctively dialed 423 because it's 423. So.
It's true. You just once you get used to it, you really can't stop it. But yeah, I mean, there's something about games where you're able to keep the heart of the game, and I think that's what you end up seeing with a lot of series that die out. Is that you can't for whatever reason, either the market changes or making the transition from 2D to 3D. We did see a lot of games really lose their way there.
Yeah.
But you're able to keep the heart of the game intact, because it was scary. We take it for granted now because I think the Metroid Prime trilogy was a success.
Yeah.
But it was scary, that jump from 2D Metroid to 3D Metroid. We just hadn't seen it.
Well,
there's a first-person shooter, and you're just like, how is this going to actually work?
Because they held off on doing it for like 15 years.
Yeah, it was an 8-year gap between two consoles came out between Super Metroid and Metroid Prime.
Yeah, people don't think about that. They skipped the home consoles there. They went from Super Nintendo to GameCube, so they completely skipped the N64, which is really probably good for Metroid, and they stayed to the handheld. So you had Metroid. It was Metroid 2 on Game Boy, right?
Yeah, there was Metroid 2 was on Game Boy.
Yeah, that was like Return of Samus, I think.
Yeah,
and then you had a few games. I think there was a Game Boy Color game, and I know there was a Game Boy Advance game.
Yeah, the Game Boy Advance game was Metroid Fusion.
There was Metroid like Legends or something too at some point.
On the Game Boy Color, I know which one you're talking about. I don't remember off the top of my head what it was called, but it was a weird game too. Like Samus took up almost the entire screen.
Yeah,
I'm not sure exactly what the plan was there.
And they did. I think if I remember right, they tried like a Metroid Prime on DS, where like you had to tap to shoot.
Metroid Prime Hunters.
That was it.
I did have that game. Actually, was a really fun game.
Was it really?
Yeah, like the single player campaign, like the AI was just pants on head stupid, but when you there was an online mode for that game.
Yeah, I remember that being like revolutionary.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was weird to be playing a first-person shooter online on a handheld.
Yeah, that must have been pretty bizarre.
Yeah, but it worked. And I had a friend in high school. We played all the time. We played essentially just every day because it worked so well, and it was really fun.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Maybe Metroid Prime 4 has some of that capability.
We can hope. As long as it's not Other M, we'll be good.
We could dedicate an entire show to my hatred of Other M. I don't necessarily want to go down that road. Let's just say, I bought it full price day one, and I was not a happy person.
The last game that I bought full price day one was Halo 3 ODST.
Really?
Yes, and I do not regret it because I love that game.
The game was great.
It was awesome. That was also the last good Halo game, if you ask me.
I agree.
Halo 4 had its moments, but nothing can beat Halo 3 ODST, especially playing the mode where, what was it called, skirmish mode or something like that, where they would all come at you, and it was co-op, and it was really fun game.
I know I played the single player of that.
Yeah.
My only problem with it was it was short.
It was short, and sometimes you get lost really easily. You wander around like, where am I supposed to go?
Which, as I've mentioned many, many, many times, and will mention many, many more times, I'm bad at games, so that happened to me very often.
Oh, it happened to me a lot too, don't worry.
But it was still fun, man. Like it was such a great story too.
Yeah, there's a guy online who calls them "Where the am I supposed to go?" game. And I think that's pretty appropriate for a lot of games.
Well, Metroid 2 being one.
Well, yeah, really.
Lost in that.
Any of the 2D Metroid games, you just have no idea where you're going.
Yeah, well, I think they remade Metroid 2 for the DS, 3DS.
They added flashing arrows.
Game. I mean, it's fast travel.
Oh,
good lord!
Press F to go to the next place.
Oh, Two Millennials Talk 92.7 FM.
The Tennessee Valley's news talk leader, Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM. 3, 2, 1. Chattanooga, Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news now.
Accused copper thief arrested. Boston police have charged a suspect with theft of copper wiring that also created a hazmat scare over the weekend. 46-year-old Christopher Nichols was arrested and charged with second-degree burglary, but more charges could come soon. TDOT gearing up for yet more road work. East Brainerd Road's widening project can continue thanks to much-needed funding courtesy of Governor Bill Haslam's Improve Act. The second phase of the East Brainerd Road expansion will widen a 1.5-mile section of the corridor from 2 lanes to 5. Dalton police are searching for 2 people suspected of stealing over $1,000 in cologne from the Walgreens on West Walnut Avenue. Police say the woman used a key to open the display case. Store management baffled, wondering how these 2 even got a key for the display case. Al St. John for Nooga Radio, News Talk 92.7, News Now.
Sam Jordan, News Talk 92.7 Sports Now. The Memphis Tigers are searching for a new men's basketball coach as Tommy Smith was relieved of duties on Wednesday at a meeting between University President M. David Rudd and Athletic Director Tom Bowen on the campus, ending more than a week of speculation about Smith's job security. Smith, who is 66, just completed his second season at Memphis and finished with a 40-26 overall record. Memphis is considering former Tigers star Penny Hardaway as its next head coach. Memphis will be owing Smith nearly $10 million because he still had 3 years remaining on a 5-year contract. Kirk Cousins is expected to be topping the highest paid player in the NFL. The 2018 Daktronics NAIA Scholar Athletes from Bryan College in Dayton listed among the 278 Division II women's basketball players. Marley Selsh, Tanisha Allison, and Amber Levy represented the Lions. Sam Jordan, News Talk 92.7 Sports Now.
Traffic, news, and information. Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM. The Tennessee Valley's news talk leader, Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
Cash, 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 and more cash. Watch it gush out of your TV. Rick Davis is on national TV. Wow. Gold and diamonds, coins, and more riches. Rick's selling, Rick's buying, and he's on national TV. Watch him Wednesday, 11 p.m. right after the Judy O'Neill Talk Show. North Georgia Cable TV 265. You won't want to miss it. It's a mountain of cash, 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 and it's catching a Hollywood spotlight. And if one day hasn't got your head spinning, how about a second? Rick Davis is on Fridays, Channel 12, 10:30 a.m., right before The Price is Right. You gotta see it to believe it. Wednesday, 11 p.m., North Georgia Cable Channel 265. Friday, 10:30 a.m. on TV 12. 2 big shows every week. Rick Davis, Gold and Diamonds. You know where it is. Brainerd Road, Chattanooga. Cash, 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 and more cash.
If I were a rich man.
Goss Insurance. Yes, we are local. And no, we don't have an 800 number. In fact, our mobile numbers are on our business cards. We live, work, play, and worship in Chattanooga. And we would love to help with your insurance. Business, auto, home, life insurance. Call now, save money. Call Goss Insurance for all your insurance needs. Goss Insurance, 875-2500. 875-2500.
Hey, dude, check this out. Have you ever seen one so big?
Whoa, look at the size of that.
There's a little itty-bitty one.
Wow, that's really small.
They have them big, small, and everything in between. You'll always find the biggest variety of knives at the knife shop at Frost Cutlery in Ottawa. We're talking about over 40 brands of knives, including Benchmade, WR Case & Sons, Booker, and all the Frost cutlery brands. Now, Sam, you've been to the cutlery shop. Isn't it amazing?
Spectacular. The knife shop at Frost Cutlery in Ottawa. They have knives, swords, kitchen knives, ammo, and reloading supplies, plus survival gear.
It's the knife shop at Frost Cutlery, open 7 days a week. Hey, girls, you're going to love this. We're going to the knife shop.
Hey, let's not tell them they have ammo and loading supplies.
The knife shop at Frost Cutlery, open 7 days a week. You'll always find the biggest variety of knives. You're going to love the knife shop at Frost Cutlery in Ottawa. The knife shop.
20% off on selected items.
Broadcasting live to over 1 million souls in Chattanooga, the Tennessee Valley, and beyond on frequency modulation 92.7. Sean Hannity, 25,000 watts on digital FM 95.3 HD4. CBS Radio News, NASCAR, Bloomberg Markets, David Tulis, streaming strong at Noogaradio.com. Live on YouTube and Facebook. Nooga Radio, News Talk 92.7. Chattanooga Radio.
You're listening to Two Millennials Talk on 92.7 FM, Nooga Radio, and NoogaRadio.com. Still video game talk.
Yeah.
Still video game talk. I suppose we'll interrupt the video games briefly to tell you about the Lady Mocs. They lost in the WNIT 60-50 to the UAB Blazers. They weren't able to make up that 8-point halftime deficit, unfortunately. But for those of you that were following that score from earlier, 60-50 UAB over UTC in the WNIT.
Oh, well, too bad.
So, well, I mean, that team's very, very well loaded. I think the Lady Mocs will be back next year. I wouldn't worry about that.
Yeah, final boss of it.
Right. Like, this is the Southern Conference tournament, the tournament for the conference that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
This year, they didn't win it, and it's the first time that they didn't win it. They'll be okay.
Yeah. Well, that's what they said about Lemmy from Motorhead. Remember that whole debacle?
Wait, what happened there?
So Lemmy from Motorhead died, I think, last year, year before last. And right before he died, there was a thread on the forum that's like, Lemmy's 60-something, drinks a whiskey every day, still does heroin, he'll be fine.
Oh,
and then that very day, like within the hour, he died.
Yeah, was that not like one of the confirmations of me magic?
It actually was, yeah. It actually was. That's sort of when
we proved that it was real.
That's actually, yeah, when we started to prove that it was real. And then people started posting, like, intentionally, like, different people, like, he'll be fine. It's like, come on.
Just hoping that I never get famous to have my own he'll be fine post.
Yeah, it's like not Jim Carrey, gosh, Kim Jong-un, he'll be fine.
Yeah. I don't know. I think for it to work, for the magic to work, like, you have to really believe that person will be fine.
It's either that, yeah, it has to be completely unintentional, where it just turns out that they die. Like, there was a post on Reddit right before Stephen Hawking, spoiler, he died. Right before Stephen Hawking died, it was like, how has Stephen Hawking survived this long when victims of ALS generally die within 3 to 5 years?
Oh, no.
And then, like, within the hour, he was announced dead, yeah. So.
But
R.I.P. Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, which, I mean, one of the great scientific minds.
Theoretical scientific minds.
On this planet.
Because nothing can really be proven.
That's true. That is true.
I have a problem with theoretical physicists, by the way.
I don't, because, like, a lot of what they're basing their stuff on is math. I have a problem with people who are fans of theoretical physicists, right? Like, there's like a certain level of, especially it's like snooty atheists. No problem with just atheists, but, like, there's a particular brand of snooty atheists that are just like, I don't believe in religion and following one person's word for everything, but, like, everything that Neil deGrasse Tyson says is just gospel to them.
Right, because he's smarter than me or something.
Yeah, it's silly.
Yeah, but he couldn't do a radio show, so there.
So there, he does have a podcast called Star Talk.
Yeah, it's not radio.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, honestly, it's all right.
It'll be fine.
I hope nothing happens as a result of that. Otherwise, we've just taken meme magic to the air, and I don't know what to do. I don't know if we can weaponize it in that way.
Yeah, well, I mean, atheistic standpoint, it really doesn't matter what happens to Neil deGrasse Tyson.
That's true. He's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere. Just turn back into Star Stuff. I do like that mentality though, where it's like, math exists. Obviously, a divine God couldn't make math, so got you, Christians.
Oh, okay.
It's like, what?
I don't even have a response for that one.
Yeah, there's
just cool, man.
I never have gotten that where people are like, checkmate, Christians. Don't you get that? Math. Like, what? No, some of the best mathematicians were Christians. I don't know what you're getting at.
I don't know. I mean,
ever hear of Isaac Newton?
He was a jerk, but he was also a Christian.
Jerks can be Christians, believe it or not.
Yeah. One of my favorite stories of Isaac Newton, by the way, because he has this quote where he says, "If I have seen further, it is because I stood on the shoulders of giants," which a lot of people take to mean that like he used the works of others that came before him and built on it to basically come up with a lot of his ideas, and he was giving credit to people of the past. But actually, he was insulting a short Frenchman who was also a scientist and his rival. Isaac Newton was a gigantic jerk.
Hey man, any excuse to jab at the French, I'm okay with.
Oh man,
that is funny.
So I like that he was a jerk just because he could be.
Yeah.
There's this perception that we have of people in the past, like they're just all nice people.
Yeah.
And you just love to meet them and just hang out. Like you wouldn't want to spend any time with Isaac Newton. He literally thought that the reason why he was such a great scientist was because like God wanted him to be the best scientist on earth and wanted everyone else to be dumber by comparison.
Right.
Like that's what he actually believed.
Yeah, kind of skewed.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
He wouldn't want to hang out with any of these people.
I don't know what his pastor was preaching, but it wasn't right.
I think that those are some liberties that Isaac Newton himself took. I don't believe anybody told him that was the case.
He went to like 110 revival. Was like, yeah,
I believe it.
I'm the best. This is it. Divine power.
It's like those people that take those self-empowerment books way too seriously.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, I got this new car because the universe wants me to have it.
I hate those people who go on about the freaking universe and what the universe wants. Listen, buddy, you're not that important, okay? You're important to somebody. You're important to a lot of people, but in the grand scheme of things,
importance is relative.
Importance is completely relative. Who freaking President Pierce. He didn't do anything. He's not important. Like all these people, it's like there are lots of people who, historically, magnitude speaking, are really not important. The universe does not care if they get a new car or not.
Like, and that's the thing. It's like the universe not only cares about you, but like specifically just the gains and monetary gains that you have in your life. Like, really,
your personal betterment. It's like, I just did this meditation and I really felt like I was touching like the universe. And when I closed my eyes, I just saw Jupiter, and I realized at that point that everything was going to line up. It's like, shut up, dude! You're just making stuff up now.
No, and I think there's some people who are successful that peddle this along. Like Oprah is one person. I like Oprah, but man, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my whole life. Like Oprah's like, no, the universe just wanted me to be this billionaire woman. Like, no. You know what I really think? I think Oprah worked really hard, and working really hard came naturally to her.
Yeah.
And so in her mind, she just thought all of this stuff just happened because like she just had a naturally strong work ethic. No. You worked for all this stuff. Like that's what happens when you work hard.
And it's funny too, because again, the atheist versus Christian thing too, because like there's no reason for the universe to care one bit about anything.
Right.
But like if you have, God, who knows?
God forbid you actually give the universe an identity.
Right. Yeah.
Like suddenly it's impossible for you to be a logical person afterwards.
Right. Yeah. It's like, I guess God really wanted me to have a new car. Like that makes so much more sense than like the universe wanted me to have a car. Universe does not care.
Just the carbon in that leaf over there wanted me to stop it.
Yeah. I was like, come on, buddy.
Stop it.
Listen, I have a low emissions car, so it's really just like I'm giving back to the planet with my lithium batteries that were farmed by slave labor in Africa.
I mean, you really have to be really pretentious, just truly and honestly pretentious, if that's the way that you're going about it. Like, I understand that wanting to do better for the planet. I do not understand wanting to make, like trying to make a compromise, but like not actually making any particular changes. Like, I want to do what's best for the planet, but I don't want to give up the ability to have a car. And that's going to have some negative downsides for the planet, like no matter what you do.
I like it even better when they have like mopeds, which are actually higher emission than
cars are. Just per the power that you're putting out.
I'm actually anti-nature. I'm fine with destroying nature. I think we should set off nuclear bombs in the atmosphere every few years. I'm fine with that.
I feel like a terrible person, but I'm completely ambivalent. Like, I personally, and this is just a complete selfish jerk way to think about this, but personally, I will outlive all of these problems. So, I'm just gonna do what I do, and you guys figure it out.
Yeah, that's kind of my way of thinking as well. It's like, you know what, my kids will deal with it. And actually, it wouldn't even be my kids, it'd be like my kids will deal with this when we run out of like coal or whatever.
Because I do think that there's a way like we can implement stuff that will help us save the planet without just like it being just surface level pretentious stuff.
Yeah.
And when we find those things, I'm cool with doing some of those things.
Well, you know what's going to actually save the planet is space travel, because then you have unlimited resources they don't have to actually take from our planet.
That's true. And presumably, if we do travel into space, you could reduce the population here by just transferring it.
Oh yeah, if you want to talk about
like you could spread it out too.
Yeah, people are like, oh, overpopulation. You know how much acreage there is in Texas?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is the overpopulation thing is just like that's my least favorite conspiracy theory. It's like, oh no, they're trying to reduce the population. Why?
I'll give you two.
Have you seen Montana?
I'll give you two factors to think about. Property in Montana, the amount of food America throws away. Those two things. Think about that. Now think about your overpopulation thing and realize,
we throw away so much food. The grocery stores throw away a lot of food just because we don't buy it,
right?
Because it looks kind of brown.
Yeah.
And there's really like nothing wrong with it. Anybody in any other nation in the world that, because we're just so unbelievably rich in this country, we have no idea. Anybody else in the world would eat that and love it.
Right.
It's like, it's a kind of brown avocado and we just don't even buy it and then the store's got to throw it away. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, and there's a kid from like the country where the avocado was actually grown who's like, that's fine.
Yeah, I would have eaten that if you had allowed me to have it.
Have you heard, by the way, the whole thing about quinoa, where like people who live wherever it is quinoa comes from, capitalism, I don't know.
Right.
Wherever quinoa comes
Invisible hand.
Yeah, they can't actually afford quinoa because dumb Americans keep buying all this quinoa. They can't actually,
they can't actually afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're farming it, but they can't actually afford it.
It's just one of those things where I say do what you can to help the planet, but don't wear it like some badge of honor, like you're doing everybody a favor. We should just all be just applauding you.
Yeah, congratulations, you're helping the planet. You recycled a tin can.
Yeah, get out of here with that.
I know they don't make tin cans anymore, but yeah.
Point still stands.
Yeah. People still say like tin foil.
We can't help it.
We just can't help it. Like
stuff just gets in the lexicon and it's never leaving.
They have not made tin cans nor tin foil since way before we were born, and we still say tin can.
Yeah, like three generations have gone by since the last time a tin can was actually made out of tin.
Right. It's aluminum and steel. Those are the two things that they use. Not once.
Because it's cheaper, you guys.
Yeah, it's like lead in your pencil. There's no lead. It's graphite. It hasn't been lead since like lead started killing people.
There's more lead in water than...
There's more lead in a Chinese toy than there's in your pencil.
just one of those things. We just can't stop saying it.
Yeah, it's just one of those euphemisms, not euphemisms, cultural things,
Oh, one of the things I do like that's still around, the word cool. It's been around since like the 20s, and it's still here.
No, it actually predates that. Cool. Yeah, cool is like an old Gaelic word, apparently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, cool. Like, from what I understand, this is from what I've read, cool like went all the way back, and it came from like some Gaelic word or some like Anglo-Saxon word or something that meant like could happen, basically. Like cool and could come from the same root, from what I understand. So
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So like it used to mean just like could happen, and now it's just like cool, man.
That to me is awesome.
Yeah. I
like etymology of words, but that to me is great because like the way that people describe things as being cool.
Yeah.
The other ancillary words that we've used have changed over time, but cool is still here.
Right.
Like that to me is my favorite thing about that word, essentially.
Well, here's some etymological fun stuff that you may know already. In English, which is an etymological nightmare, by the way.
Yeah.
In English, we have French origin words, and we have Germanic origin words, and we have loan words from a whole bunch of other freaking languages we don't even know about, like Turkey. turkeys were called turkeys because you had to get turkeys by going through like some weird Turkish naval ship passageway or some weird thing. Who knows? But they're called turkey birds because you had to get them from like some shipping channel that was controlled by Turkey at the time, the Ottomans. Anyway, so think about the different words for food. Okay, we have pork and we have ham. Why are they two different words?
I have always wondered that.
I have an answer. So the Normans were the French descended higher class in England, right? They spoke French. In French, the word for pork is porc. Porc.
P-O-R-C.
P-O-R-C. Yeah, as most people know, and I can't actually pronounce French very well, but that's what it is. Porc.
I thought you got close.
Thank you. And ham is very Germanic, Anglo-Saxon. Ham. The farmers made ham, and the people who ate it ate pork because two different language origins. You had the Normans who were eating pork, and you had the Anglo-Saxons who were producing ham from their pigs, not their cochons.
You know what? That is confusing.
Yes.
That is confusing and obviously is going to get lost in history.
And that's why we have both words for the same thing.
For the same thing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's why we have mutton and lamb.
Oh, for the same reason.
Same reason.
See, this is why people hate to learn this language. It makes zero sense.
It really doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah.
It sounds make-believe. When you hear like the explanations for how some words that we use have come to be, it sounds imaginary.
Yeah.
Entirely. I can never wrap my mind around it.
I watched this thing, by the way. It was like bringing English back to its Germanic roots, like by removing all Romance loanwords, and it basically just sounds like German, basically. But it's really like it's a language nightmare for someone who understands a little bit of French and understands a little bit of German and speaks English natively, like me. It's like it's really hard to hear.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, what were you saying about English?
It's just not just that it was a nightmare to me. People from other countries, like in our American arrogance, when someone comes from another country, it's like, why don't you just learn English?
It's hard.
Really, this is the worst language for anyone to have to learn. If you had to learn Chinese, it would be easier for you to learn Mandarin than it would be for that person who knows Mandarin to know English. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, English has a lot of unique, I think they're called phenotypes. It has a lot of unique like combinations of consonants and vowels that you just really don't see in other languages. Just like French does, where French has a lot of combinations that just do not exist in other languages. And China, other like Asian languages have like a subset of how they pronounce different things that just do not happen here in English. Like, yeah, sure, and stuff like that over in China.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why like Japanese people have trouble with like the RL thing,
right?
Is because those are sounds that simply do not exist in Japanese,
right?
So then you come to speak it in English, and you haven't even used the muscles that your mouth would require for you to pronounce those words. It's kind of crazy.
It's like walking for the first time, essentially.
Yeah,
it's hard because you've never done it before, and those of us who grew up walking were like, "How you can't walk?"
It is one reason why I'm truly terrified of world travel. Because at this point, I don't really know French. And I've started over like a lesson on Duolingo like 17 times.
Yeah.
And I know just enough French to get into trouble. I feel like I don't know enough French to like actually communicate with anybody else.
Yeah.
But I do want to try that immersion thing where you just move to a country and you just stay there until you can speak the language because your brain will figure it out.
Right.
If you make it.
Yeah.
I would like to try that.
I've always wanted to try that too. But the problem is I can't get enough time off of work to do that. So
yeah, and also I wouldn't want the time off of work. Like I really don't like not being on the air, and I'm sure that a lot of people listening have just something that they love to do. That if you were to go to another country, there would be no reason for you to be doing it.
Yeah,
like I couldn't do radio in France better than someone from France, so there's no point in in me trying to go over there and just immerse myself unless it was like a really long vacation.
You could go to Guyana and then border hop occasionally on the weekend.
That's true. I could do that.
Because French Guiana, in case the listener doesn't know, French Guiana is on the border of Guyana because it's pronounced differently. It's the same thing, but it's pronounced differently, confusingly enough.
Yeah, because the British had Guyana and the French had French Guiana.
Yeah.
The French actually had both, and then the British said, "Hey, we'll take some of that off your hands if you don't mind.
We'll buy some of that."
Yeah, they split the country in half. So
colonialism.
So one was the British colony, the other one was the French colony.
Yep.
And
That's how we got Belize too. Belize has English as the main language.
yeah, and I believe Suriname was also in on that with Portugal.
Yeah,
got a piece of that as well.
I believe so. Yeah.
So we could cross the border. I remember one time I was in Guyana, my grandma wanted to take us across the border to Suriname just to see like what it was like and just to see how different it was.
Yeah.
And I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was pretty far away from where we were staying. But that would have been cool, but also that would have also required being in some portion of like the Amazon at that point. And I don't know if you have seen the spiders that the Amazon rainforest produces.
Not in person.
They are not fun. They are enormous, and I am seriously arachnophobic. I can't do it. Like, I just couldn't do it.
Well, here's another idea, by the way. I freaking hate spiders. Here's another bilingual thing, by the way. Go to the island, Saint Martin, French. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Saint Martin, the north side speaks French. I'm sure you know this. The south side speaks Dutch.
Yeah.
So you could go there and learn both.
And of course, like also the reason why like there are Black people in the Netherlands is because when the Dutch ended slavery, which
was pretty early on, comparatively.
Yeah, it was pretty early on, and they did something that no other colonial nation did, which was that they made the slaves citizens of the Netherlands.
Right.
So they said you could come back to the Netherlands too. You could move over here because you're citizens now. You can go wherever you want inside of all the Netherlands' own places. And so like, yeah, you're
essentially legally equal.
Yeah. And so that's what happened. A lot of people were like, oh, well, I can try and see if I can make a better life over there. So I had a friend who was from the Netherlands. His family's Caribbean.
That's really weird.
Very strange.
Pretty cool, though.
Yeah, people are almost as weird as words.
The world's a very interesting place.
Yeah. Two Millennials Talk, 92.7 FM, Nooga Radio at NoogaRadio.com.
Traffic, news, and information. Nooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM. Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 92.7 FM's news now.
Lee Harvey, man accused in a deadly bar fight, is found not guilty by a jury. Alvin County DA's office confirmed it happened back in 2016 at Rumors Bar on Hickson Pike. 36-year-old Sean Russell was stabbed to death during the brawl. Investigators say that there are weapons used on both sides of the fight. Bond with conditions has been set for the Dalton High School teacher. He's accused of firing a gun outside his classroom window. New details were released today, though, about